Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to Matters of the Heart Chronicles. I'm Carmen Janelle, and this is where we explore those divine thoughts that speak directly to our souls. Because when we heal from the soul, we're able to walk in alignment with the Father's heart. This is our very first episode, and honestly, I'm both excited and a little nervous. But you know what? I'm learning to embrace the vulnerability of doing things while I'm still figuring them out. Building a road while I walk it, right? Today's question is one that's been sitting heavy on my own heart lately. Do you sit long enough with a word from the Holy Spirit, allowing it to work in you first before releasing it? We're going to look at a powerful biblical example, talk about the difference between information and formation. And I'm going to get real with you about my own struggle with this. So let me be honest with you. I've been guilty of this. Someone asks me a question, the Holy Spirit drops something in my spirit, and I'm ready to run with it. Share it on social media, preach it, teach it, turn it into content. But here's what I've been learning. And I'm still learning this, by the way. There's a difference between having a word and being transformed by that word. Just last week, I was working on content for my YouTube channel, and I had this beautiful revelation about transformation and vulnerability. My first instinct, schedule it, record it, post it immediately. But something stopped me. This quiet whisper. Have you sat with this long enough? Has this worked in you yet? And that's when I realized I was about to give information I hadn't let become formation. So that brings me to a story that changed how I see this whole thing. Let's talk about the Apostle Paul for a minute. This man had the most dramatic conversion experience you could imagine. He's on the Damascus Road, literally persecuting Christians, and Jesus himself shows up in blinding light. Paul is knocked to the ground, blinded, completely undone. Now, if that happened to you or me, we would be ready to tell everybody, right? You won't believe what just happened to me. But here's what Paul did. And this is in Galatians chapter 1, 17, 18. He went to Arabia for 3 years. 3 years. He didn't rush to Jerusalem to meet with the apostles. He didn't immediately start a speaking tour. He withdrew. He sat with what he'd received. Think about that. Paul had a direct encounter with the risen Christ. He had the testimony of all testimonies. He could have built an entire ministry platform off that Damascus Road story alone. But he chose to let that revelation work in him before he released it through him. And this is where I want to talk about the difference between information and formation. Information lives in your head. It's knowledge about something. You can Google it, memorize it, repeat it. You can teach information you just learned yesterday. But formation lives in your heart and transforms your character. It's knowledge that becomes part of you. It can only be shared from lived experience. Here's the simplest way I can say it. Information says, I know that. Formation says, I've become that. Information can be transferred in a moment. Formation requires a season. Let me give you an example. You can know as information that God is love. You can preach it, you can tweet it, put it on a coffee mug. But when you've experienced his love in a way that fundamentally changes how you love others, when his love has worked through your wounds, your fears, your broken places, that's formation. And when you speak from that place, people don't just hear your words. They encounter something that's been tested and proven in the laboratory of your own soul. Here's what I've discovered. When the Holy Spirit gives you a word, you have information immediately. But if you rush to release it, that's all it is. Information passing through you. When you sit with it, wrestle with it, let expose things in you, challenge you, refine you, transform you, then it becomes formation. And what you released isn't just a word, it's a word with weight, with authority, with the kind of authenticity that can only come from something that's done if it's deep work in you first. Paul didn't emerge from Arabia with just a testimony about Damascus. He emerged as a man who had been fundamentally formed by spending time with the reality of who Christ is. The information he received on the road, that transformed into formation in the wilderness. So what does this mean for us? Here's what I'm learning. And I want to invite you into this with me. First, when God gives you a word, write it down. Journal it. But resist the urge to immediately broadcast it. Sit with it. Let it marinate. Second, ask yourself, what is this word revealing about me? Not just what it means for others, but what is it exposing in your own heart, your own life? Third, give it time, whether that's days, weeks, or months. Let the word do its work in you. Let it challenge you, change you, transform you. And here's the beautiful thing. When you finally do release it, it won't just be words. It'll be living water that flows from a well that's been dug deep in your own soul. Here's my challenge for both of us this week. If the Holy Spirit has given you a word recently, maybe something you've been eager to share, I want you to pause. Sit with it a little longer. Journal about what it's stirring in you. Let it work in you before you work it out to others. Because the world doesn't need more information. The world needs people who've been transformed by what they're carrying. So just to recap, we talked about Paul's 3 years in Arabia, the difference between information and formation, and the power of letting a word work in you before releasing it to others. I'd love to hear from you. What word has the Holy Spirit been sitting with you lately? Drop a comment, send me a message. Let's process this together. Thanks for listening to the very first episode of Matters of the Heart Chronicles. Remember, we're building this road while we walk it, and there's something beautiful about documenting transformation in real time. I'll see you next Sunday with another whisper for your soul.